Now, this week, there's a guy in the news named Harrison Butker. In my world, you know, we like the women to stay at home and just have babies.
The truth is that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are literally a testament to the opposite of everything Harrison Butker was talking about.
Democrats are the party of women and for women, and then Republicans become the party of men and for men. Right. And so it then becomes reinforcing. And probably the solution for the young people is, like there needs to be like a left-wing Andrew Tate.
Okay, well, that's impossible.
Hey fam, welcome back to One and Done. Today we're going to be checking out Bill Maher, and he's going to be talking about the situation that's developed with Harrison Butker. Super controversial because he wants his wife not to work, he wants to provide, and he wants his wife to raise their child instead of chasing a career. And the left is flipping out. Now Bill Maher's joined by Pamela Paul and Nellie Bowles. They also discuss masculinity and gender dysphoria. Now, before we jump into the video, if you want to help a brother out, help me get to that 1,000 sub club. Don't forget to hit the like, smash the subscribe, ring the notification bell, and let's dive in.
Now, this week, there's a guy in the news named Harrison Butker. He's the kicker on the Kansas City Chiefs, also known as the Taylor Swift Chiefs. So he got invited to do the commencement address at a conservative Catholic college. And by the way, if you're getting a guy from the special teams, this is not one of the big schools, okay? But look, I can't express how much this guy is not like me. He's religious. He loves marriage. He loves kids. Here's a quote of his. I have seen it firsthand how much happier someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will. Yeah, not me. I couldn't be more not like this guy.
It's the closest you've been to a baby in decades.
Never. Yeah, it's funny. Bill Maher's said this plenty of times, hasn't he? That he doesn't like kids. He'd never get married. He thinks it's the worst thing that can happen to him. And this is how upside down this world has become. We get it, Bill, but your lifestyle is not really conducive to a long-term relationship. And we understand that's not what you want. But why would you even bother comparing yourself to this young man? This young man has aspirations, desires, and goals that align with his partner, his wife. I can't even understand why anyone would be demonizing this. This should be celebrated, that we've got two adults that have the same vision and want to follow their belief and faith in God and use that as a vehicle to build their family.
He's in big trouble because he said at this event, and this is a Catholic college, conservative Catholics, and they think he's now history's greatest monster. Again, I don't agree with much with this guy, but I don't get the thing. He said, some of you, talking to the women here, some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world. Okay, that seems fairly modern. But I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I don't see what the big crime is. I really don't. And I think this is part of the problem people have with the left, is that lots of people in this country are like this. Like he's saying, some of you may go on to lead successful careers, but a lot of you are excited about this other way that everybody used to be. And now can't that just be a choice too? And I feel like they feel very put upon, like there's only one way to be a good person. And that's to get an advanced degree from one of those asshole factories like Harvard.
And this is what people tend to do, or even groups tend to do, because they're insecure about their own position of chasing a career and not having anyone by their side at the end of it, or not having children to carry on their legacy. They feel as though they have to demonize these other people that do that do aspire to have a family, that do aspire to have a husband, and do realize that the greatest gift that they have, because no one else can do it, is that this woman can give birth. She can have a baby. There's no other gift on the planet that can replace that. A man can't do that. All the pay rises and bonuses that you can get at a corporate job ain't going to replace that. So we can't understand why they try and demonize this. It should be celebrated. Populations are on the decline. We need more people like this. And they've got the building blocks there for a successful marriage. Now watch this, as you can only see this on MSNBC. This news anchor tries to cope about Taylor Swift's situation and tries to prop her up as the ideal relationship.
One teammate in particular who may want to have a word with Mr. Butker.
As my teammate's girlfriend says, familiarity breeds contempt.
If you didn't know, that was a Taylor Swift reference. Taylor Swift is dating the Chiefs tight end, Travis Kelce. And while I am sure Harrison Butker thought it was a neat thing to drop in a pop culture reference for his audience of 20-somethings, the truth is that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are literally a testament to the opposite of everything Harrison Butker was talking about. Taylor Swift spent the past week filling stadiums in Paris as she continues to take her historically successful Eras tour global. The 34-year-old singer is not married. She has no children and has made no indication that she wants to embrace being a homemaker. All of which appears to be pretty okay with Harrison Butker's teammate, Travis Kelce, who gets to enjoy a super fancy European vacation, including romantic boat rides through Italy alongside his multi-millionaire girlfriend.
They just don't get it, do they? They think this materialism is a replacement for family. It's not. Now, Taylor Swift is like a train that stops all stations. People have been getting in and out of there for years now. Now, if she thinks this relationship's going to last longer than a relationship that's built on deep religious beliefs and meaning, a couple that wants to have a family and wants to prioritize that over these things that Taylor Swift's doing, this dude's just going to end up on another one of her songs. This is not a situation ideal for a long-term relationship. She's in Paris filling stadiums while he's back here filling other stuff. This dude's a busy man. When he's working hard, training, etc., and he comes home, there's no one there to cuddle because she's over in Paris filling stadiums. When that cat's away, this rat's gonna play. That is not ideal for a relationship. And the last people you want to be listening to for relationship advice is MSDNC.
I think maybe part of why it's so upsetting to a liberal to hear that would be that there aren't great positive, like masculine visions within the left or within liberalism right now. It's masculinity.
Role models, you mean?
Yeah, masculine role model. Masculinity is inherently toxic. It's bad. And so a guy like this, who a lot of conservative guys probably look up to and are admiring, that's sort of upsetting. But there's not an alternative that the Democrats or the progressives are presenting, really. And so it's...
But I find it very...
Exactly. Nellie Bowles is correct. There is a lack of masculine role models. And this NFL kicker, he's a good example of embracing your masculine role. Taking the reins, leading your family. And his wife would look up to him. She would admire and respect him. And he would admire and respect her as well. And they're putting their family first before some corporation. She's more than a money-making machine. She is a wife, a mother. She is going to shape her child. You can't get a bigger responsibility than that. And Nellie's right. Liberals get super triggered by masculinity. They think all masculinity is toxic. No. Toxic people are toxic. Masculinity is a great thing.
Very ironic that he's saying, you know what, in my world, we like the women to stay at home and just have babies. And the college kids and the young people find this absolutely abhorrent. But they're demonstrating for Hamas,
right,
who make that a law. It's not just an opinion in Hamas that you stay home and have the babies. We will enforce you for doing that. Okay, I just wanted to make that point.
Nellie is Queers for Palestine, right?
Yes.
Queers for Palestine.
We both are. We wanted to come and do an intervention.
So Trump...
Can't make it up.
Trump is winning the young people 46-43. This is what I'm reading. And most of it is because of men. There's a giant gender gap now, apparently. The women have moved to the left. The men are pretty much where they used to be, probably in caveman days, but okay.
So the left liberals, they don't have any roles for masculine men. That's why you don't find any of them on the left. They tend to be soy and simps. And if you jump on the other side, there's plenty of masculine role models. And young men are moving more towards that. That's why Andrew Tate has filled a massive void. Because there's a lack of masculine men, masculine fathers, masculine leaders. We see them all in politics. There's hardly any masculine leaders. Definitely none that I can think of on the left. Joe Biden, compared to Donald Trump, there's no competition. Trump's a dog. He doesn't back down. You challenge him, you threaten him. He digs in 10 toes deep. No, I'm not saying he's perfect. No, this is not a cult. I'm just stating facts. If you got Biden and you got Trump, there just is no comparison. Biden should just stick to licking ice cream.
31% of women LGBT now identify as LGBT. That's almost a third.
Q plus.
Q plus? Oh, yes.
Plus.
I can't keep... Every time I try to say it, they added one last week, and then I'm behind again.
Right.
So I'm not, sorry. LGBT, that's as good as I can give. Okay, so to me, this is like a vicious cycle. The more awful young men get, the more women don't want to be around them, and I don't blame them. And then they're like, oh, I guess I'll have to be an incel. Nobody wants to f me. They're all...
Well, I mean...
Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think you are wrong, Bill. It's not a matter of the more awful the young men get, the less women want to be around them. The fact of the matter is all the young women are choosing the same young men, the top 5% of men. The other 80-90% of men are missing out. Now, that's why there's these dating podcasts that are telling guys to lift their game, get their money up, get in the gym, embrace your masculinity. Women don't like soy boys. They like masculine men because they keep choosing them. The top 5-10% are generally masculine men. They're leaders. They're sought after. They have game. They don't necessarily want to commit. That's why there are so many single women. These guys at the top are getting all the action, and the 80% of women, unfortunately, most of them are getting pumped and dumped. Now, what did Bill say? He said 31% of women are now identifying as LGBTQ. That's great, but if you don't like masculine energy, guess what? If you're in a gay man relationship and you're in a lesbian relationship, lesbians report 3 times the domestic violence that gay men do. So if you don't like toxic masculinity, you don't like masculinity, not toxic, masculinity. If you end up in a lesbian relationship, you're 3 times more likely to suffer from domestic violence.
That divide is real, and it's not just in the United States. It's in most of Western Europe. It's in China. It's in South Korea. It's in Poland. So that's happening all over the place. But I think that, part of it is social media, which is like, I think when you're a girl or a woman, you go online, and the deeper down the rabbit hole you get, the more it becomes about, victimization, about vulnerabilities, about powerlessness, about, and then with men, when you go down the internet rabbit hole, it's more about power, and it's about, fighting back, and it's about winning, and it's about, it goes into that whole kind of Andrew Tate sort of vibe. And I think that the right is very good at stoking that kind of male, anger.
What is this woman talking about? Male anger? No, they're looking for something in their life that's missing, and Andrew Tate is offering something that they can easily identify and embrace with. Now, if you don't like that, come up with some other idea that young men can look forward and towards, that they can aspire to being and doing. It used to be religion. It still is in other countries, but in the West, it's no coincidence that the less religious they've become, everything else has fallen to pieces. In China and in India, 3 to 4% of children are born into a single mother home. Now in America, the US, that is 27%, the highest rate on the planet. And then if you look at the crime statistics, most of the people in jail are from single mum homes. Most of these mass shooters, single mum homes. Single mum pregnancies, the highest percentage, single mum homes. So it's no wonder that we see the decline in the West. And it's because we're bad-mouthing, putting people down that embrace masculinity and traditional gender roles. And it doesn't make sense because that is the most successful way that we've seen in history. And if you go the opposite way, the statistics are way worse. And we're seeing it. It's right before our eyes.
It becomes a vicious cycle where the Democrats are the party of women and for women, and then Republicans become the party of men and for men.
Right.
And so it then becomes reinforcing. And probably the solution for the young people is just, if you want to be with someone who agrees with you politically, you've got to go gay. And it's fine. It's fine. It really is.
I do think that liberals talk a lot about expanding opportunities, empowering people who've been marginalized, helping the powerless, and perhaps that is all to the good. But None of them are talking about how to empower what to do for boys and for men. And I do think that there are men who say, like, what about us? Why is there nothing? Why are we left out of this conversation entirely?
The left are the biggest gaslighters. Now, if there's any demographic that is the easiest to sell to, it is women, because they buy on emotion. 80% of the consumer base is women. That's why the Democrats can gaslight all they like. They just need to show some emotional, put something emotional up, like abortion. Get their voter base all up in their feelings. They have all these stupid policies. They love DEI. It's the worst thing ever. DEI is the worst thing ever. People are starting to pull out of it. All these soft on crime policies, left liberal cities, highest crime rates. It's not a coincidence, but they'll gaslight you. They'll tell you, no, the crime rates aren't high. Well, they ain't, because you stop reporting them. And in general, men think more logically, particularly masculine men. And that's why you're seeing a divide. Think about it. If you did a sales course, they'll tell you to sell something on emotion. A young woman comes into a pet store. Salesman, oh, this puppy's going to look lovely. Oh, look, it even looks like you. It's going to look lovely in your home. Oh, can we have it? The masculine man is going to be, who's going to walk it? Who's going to feed it? How much does it cost to feed? What about operations? What about when we go away on holidays? Who's going to look after it?
Yeah, like there needs to be like a left-wing Andrew Tate.
No chance.
Okay, well, that's impossible.
We looked at you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. I'm offering myself. No, men, believe me, I've thought about doing a TED Talk, but they won't have me. But and just because men need to learn game again, they just don't understand it. They don't get that women are communicative creatures. You got to talk to them. You can't. It just can't be, eggplant emoji. What's up, my dick?
He's true. He's right. Like I said before, you got to sell them the game. You got to sell them the dream. You do have to have game. And that's why all these podcasts are popping up. They're super popular left, right, and center. Trying to give these guys game. Trying to help them understand what the dating and sexual marketplace is like today, because it's changed a hell of a lot, particularly since the introduction of social media.
Rolling back some of the over-excesses in 2020. I don't know how this got lumped in, but the kids are lumpers. They do like to lump things in together.
Solidarity.
Exactly. So British pediatrician Dr. Hilary Cass on gender dysphoria, this is in the UK. They are now pronouncing the United States as way behind. This is so, to me, symbolic of so much of woke excess. By thinking you're so progressive, you're actually behind. The UK now says the reality is that we have no good evidence on the long-term outcomes or interventions to manage gender-related distress in kids. These are kids who are wanting to switch sex. For most young people, a medical pathway will not be the best way. There's no clear evidence that social transition in childhood has any positive or negative mental health outcomes, and the ideology on all sides has directed care.
Yeah, not much to say on this except for that a kid can't have a tattoo until he's 18, or she, but they can have hormone blockers and reassignment surgery. And the rest of the world is coming to the realization. Now, the problem with this whole thing is that obviously any speech on this matter was shut down. I don't think it's been shut down as much today, but you still have to be cautious in how you talk about this.
So, in other words, by trying to be so far ahead, the United States, and this is not just England, this is all the Scandinavian countries, they've all pulled back on this. To me, this says a lot about where we went, and hopefully we're getting back to someplace sane. Because, yes, I don't think we should be doing medical interventions on kids before they can figure out who they are.
It's the horseshoe, and hopefully at some point it will go all the way around the horseshoe. But I don't know when it's going to happen, because right now the medical establishment, the major medical associations are staying mum,
right,
or digging in.
Right. They're afraid. Okay. Thank you very much.
So there we have it, fam. Let's wrap this up. So Harrison Butker, we wish him all the best. Embrace that masculinity, bruh. Lead your family, lead your wife and your children. You are a role model to millions, I'm sure. Who cares about what these wokies think? Follow your good book, and let's see which is the best template to follow. Taylor Swift or you and your wife? Now, it's hilarious that Bill Maher decided to compare himself to Harrison Butker. They are polar opposites. And you know, the funny thing is, people act as though they just popped out of this world. They actually came from their mother and their father. And Bill has a sister as well. And when I'm looking at situations and I'm looking at statistics and things, lifestyle, I believe, look, anyone can live the lifestyle that they want. But if we want what's best for the general public, the general population, if we want the best outcome for society in general, the nuclear family is the best way to go. Hands down. If there's a better system, let me know. And the left is lacking in the masculinity department. Men and women are different. And you can't make a young man happy and satisfied by feminizing him. There is naturally, biologically, going to be something missing. And the sooner we realize that, the better. Anyway, I'm going to keep it moving. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll jump in there and add to them. Now, if you want to help a brother out, we're almost at the 1,000 sub club. Don't forget to hit the like, smash the subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next video.